Jakob Stausholm, how confident are you that the slowdown we're seeing globally is not going to turn into a recession?
Well, I can give no guarantees. The good news for Rio Tinto is that we are used to being able to deal with the business cycles. I mean, there are, of course, a couple of indicators that are a bit concerning right now. On the other hand, what we see is that the Chinese economy, the Chinese government are taking measures to stimulate the Chinese economy, and the Chinese economy is very important for business conditions for Rio Tinto and for the world.
And how do you see the iron ore price performing with what's happening in China?
Yeah, no, we never give any projections of the iron ore price, but it has remained strong this year, despite the fact that the steel production has gone down quite significantly in the first quarter. But what I just said is that China have just announced that they will intensify infrastructure investments, and that tends to be good for demand of iron ore. So I remain hopeful.
On Indigenous relations, does Rio Tinto support the Commonwealth Government legislating minimum mandatory standards for cultural heritage protection?
Look, we have always been very supportive of regulations. We have recently been through regulatory changes in WA. But over and above that, we are setting our own standards. We really believe very much that the major part of it is between us and the individual traditional owner groups, where we are trying to build the right relationships. We talk about co-management of the land. We will of course meet any regulatory requirements, but very often we go over and above that.
You're a member of the WA Chamber of Mines. It's opposed to the federal government setting minimum protection standards, saying it would be needless duplication. Will you maintain your membership of the industry body?
We have no plans for changing our current memberships at the moment.
You said today you'll focus on listening and resetting relationships with Indigenous groups, but it's been put to me by Indigenous leaders that if you're serious about that, a practical step would be to force the WA Chamber into supporting greater protections or to quit.
Look, it's a very difficult, it's a very complicated and long-lasting consultation. What we believe is that legislation has progressed, but what I've said as well is that we are not just complying with the law, we are setting standards over and above that, and it's as I said, about building relationships and finding the right way of co-management of the land where we operate. We start seeing that in some places. I'm very encouraged from that, and we want that everywhere. Legislation is only part of the solution.
Moving to climate, which is another major issue for you, members of the coalition have said that the net zero by 2050 isn't a commitment, that it is dead. How worried would you be if Australia backs away from net zero by 2050?
Look, I'm quite practical. We are a global company. We are very, very clear. Rio Tinto will be net zero by 2050. Most nations have got that target. It's not for me to be a politician, and what I notice is that there has been a good focus on action in this country, and we are pushing further actions. We are trying to do everything we can to develop renewable energy here in Australia in order to decarbonise our assets.
How worried would you be if Australia backs away from net zero by 2050, which has been raised by some in the coalition, given there's a risk of carbon tariffs on your iron ore if we do?
No, but look, we're just crystal clear about our position. The last thing we want to do is to try to influence anything. There is a federal election happening, and that's for the people of Australia and not for me. But leave no doubt, we believe that climate change is important to address because we are a company that has a major carbon footprint, and therefore our targets of reducing 15% in 25 and 50% by 2030 and being net zero in 50. It's a global commitment, and it's not going to change, and we are pushing forward with a number of initiatives as we speak. Tomorrow I will be up at our new iron ore mine, Gudai-Darri, where we are building a major solar farm. every day new solar cells are coming into the Pilbara in our operation. So it's something that is happening.
Jakob Stausholm, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.